I mentioned in my last JRPGs I played video about how I've been playing back-to-back JRPGs recently, and this is still true as I get into my second playthrough of Nelke and the Legendary Alchemist because I messed up my first one. Because of this, there's been a lot of JRPG news I've been saving up to look at, and I was able to get some time to do that this week as my Nelke review won't be ready for at least another week. I was happy to have a chance to catch up on some JRPG news stories though, with some news on some of my favorite JRPG franchises, some interesting JRPG movie announcements, and also little bits of controversy sprinkled here and there, making my news catch-up session pretty interesting. So here's everything I found and some quick thoughts on some recent and not so recent JRPG news. During the livestream of the Persona 5 animation special Stars and Hours, a teaser for Persona 5R was shown, with the full title revealed as Persona 5 The Royal. The teaser featured a female character dressed in the Shujin High uniform, but in true teaser style, nothing too solid was revealed, but instead a lot of intrigue was given, with this new character talking in a more negative light about the Phantom Thieves, making me lean more towards the theory that this character will be in a similar vein to Persona 4 Golden's Marie, because her lines don't make her sound all that in the Phantom Thieves. I'm open to whatever this and its new character actually ends up being though, with the female protagonist theory proving to be quite popular. But for now, we'll have to wait until Atlus announces more information on April 24th. Atlus wasn't done teasing players though, as they've also opened up a website for Persona 5S, with a cheeky one more from the game featured on the screen that has me joining the party of people hoping for a Switch release because of the implications you could draw from playing the S or Switch version for one more time. But that is pure speculation coming from the fact that I would love to play Persona 5 again, and especially on Switch. There were other things hidden in the source code too, which read kind of like a calling card from the Phantom Thieves, although it didn't really reveal much of what this announcement could be. So hopefully we hear more about that on April 25th as Atlus have announced. And if you thought the Persona 5 news was done, it isn't, because as I was making this video, the Persona 5 collaboration with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was finally detailed and looked way too cool not to include in this video. In a video on Nintendo's YouTube channel, the Joker model was shown in action, with moves based off ones from Persona 5, including the incredibly stylish Smash version of an all-out attack that couldn't be truer to the original. There were other cool tidbits too, such as Morgana appearing as Joker's taunt and Joker's alternative outfit being his uniform from Shujin High. But the coolest feature of this DLC for me had to be the Momentous stage. This stage is a great tribute to Persona 5, with it sucking up all of its unique style and putting it everywhere in this version of Momentous. But what's even cooler is that when you change its music tracks to ones from Persona 3 and 4, it also changes the stage's colors to match, giving some love to some other great Persona games as well. With this, there will be a generous 11 tracks included in the Joker DLC that include 3 new arrangements of Persona songs, with the new Beneath the Mask track able to be heard in the trailer. And outside of the Joker DLC, there will also be Persona 3, 4, and 5 Mii skins that are adorable, and I pretty much need all of them. The Joker DLC with the playable character, 11 tracks, and the Momentous stage will be $5.99 by itself, and will also be part of the Fighters Pack, and is great value for everything included, making me feel very happy for my Smash purchase, as it was mostly for this that I bought it, so hopefully by the time this video is up, I'll have played it because it looks really, really good. Feel free to comment below and let me know if you're liking it, if you pick it up too, as I'm sure there will be plenty of hype going around for this great looking DLC. With its recent Japanese release, Atelier Lulua the Scion of Arland has received some DLC in Japan, including 3 separate season passes that are priced quite highly, but full of content I'd be interested in. The 3 passes include the Lulua Pass, the Totori Pass, and the Maruru Pass. The Lulua Pass is 2,300 yen, which is around $21 US, and includes 3 costumes that are throwbacks to Utawarerumono that Lulua, Ava, and Oriole can wear. Lulua's Pass also includes a Gust extra BGM pack and an extra hard map called Machina Domain, and if it's anything like the blue reflection map I bought for Lydian Soul, I'm sure it'll be very challenging since it's said to be an extra hard map full of useful materials. Next are the Totori and Maruru passes, which go for 3,200 yen each, which is around $29 US, and both include what seems to be different costumes for all party members, along with Totori and Maruru as playable characters in their respective passes, and also special story events featuring the pack's respective character. These passes sound like something I'd be interested in buying after my big dive into the Arland series months ago made me fall in love with the characters and the world of Arland. However, they're slapped with the typically high price that Gus DLCs seem to get, with the total price for all 3 of these packs costing more than Atelier Lulua itself in Japan. These DLCs haven't been announced for the West yet, but if they do come over, I assume they'll be at a similar price. And while the extra dungeons and story content will give a bit of replay value beyond aesthetics, it's a lot of money to ask fans to pay after already buying the game and kinda sits in a weird place for me. In saying that, they probably also realize that the people who love the Atelier games really love them, and Lulua being the surprise 4th edition to what was originally just a trilogy of Arland games makes all this new content feel like a bonus, and they wouldn't be wrong since I'll probably become part of the problem since I want to see the extra story content with Maruru and Totori, and they'll likely see me get the DLC if I can afford it. In terms of DLC in general, I feel like since playing Torna the Golden Country and seeing how much was included in that experience for such a considerably low price since it had a rich 20-hour story campaign and plenty of replayability just like its main game for around $40, my expectations for DLC price and quality have probably just generally been raised. And I wish this kind of value was more common in not just Gus DLC, but all game DLC in general. Anyway, if I had a choice, something more like $50 for all 3 in my opinion would be more fair, and probably the maximum amount I'd like to spend on DLC. But I guess we'll see if the prices are any better when Lulua is out in English, and I'm excited to see the full game whether I play this DLC or not. After Judgement was abruptly pulled from Japanese shelves because one of its main character actors, Pierre Taki, tested positive for cocaine usage, it's been announced that Judgement will still release June 25th this year for the West, just with a new actor's likeness and Japanese voice replacing the character of Kyohei Hamura. This is good news for those looking forward to the game like myself, as despite the fact it will be altered, we're still getting it, and without a delay no less. So I look forward to trying the demo that is still sitting on my PS4 hard drive soon, and hopefully the full game as well. And in case anyone was curious, since I'm in Japan, I had a look at a couple of Japanese retailers online and in stores, and while some stores show the listing of the original Judgement with Pierre Taki is sold out, other stores seem to still be selling through their stock, with a new Japanese release date for Judgement seemingly still yet to be announced. I've also seen it physically at a few stores like Book Off that sell secondhand games, and also on Amazon JP for higher prices, so while they're not getting any new stock of the original, it's definitely still floating around if anyone's interested, and I wonder if stores will still have stock of the old version when the revised one is out here. While I haven't been playing Dragalia Lost or any smartphone JRPGs recently, I thought I'd have a look at the recent Dragalia Digest posted on Nintendo's YouTube channel to see what's going on with the game, and if anything was going to pull me back in. While I don't think I'll be jumping back into it immediately, there was one announcement at the end that tried to get me in, with the news that Dragalia Lost will collaborate with Fire Emblem Heroes, another great smartphone JRPG from Nintendo, with characters from Fire Emblem Heroes appearing in Dragalia Lost. As for which characters, that hasn't been announced yet, but I guess there's a chance that the original characters from Fire Emblem Heroes may be in there. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they put in characters people know like Chrom or Marth, although I'd personally love to see Tharja or another fan favorite in there, Tharja in particular, as she's my favorite. I also wonder if these Fire Emblem characters will be drawn in a more Dragalia Lost style way. Fire Emblem Heroes and Dragalia Lost both have art styles I like, but I'd be curious to see the Fire Emblem characters drawn in that more colorful Dragalia Lost way. So while I don't know if this will be the thing to get me back into it, I am curious to learn more about this collaboration and to see the artwork especially. Also, a fun fact I found out while I was making this is that the main illustrator Naoki Saito for Dragalia Lost has also done some really cool looking work for Pokemon as well. I'll put some illustrations up on the screen, but this definitely has just made me want to see how Fire Emblem characters would look in his style even more. Who knows if he's actually doing it, but it would be really cool to see. There's been a few notable JRPG announcements recently, and while you might have already heard some of these are the ones that had me either really excited or just wanting to look into them more. First is one that many of you are kind enough to let me know about, and that's that Crystar will be indeed coming out in English, and you can probably guess how happy and excited I am about it. It was some of the best news I've woken up to this year. With its interesting premise and gorgeous art style, this is one that myself and others have really wanted to see come to the West, and I'm so happy that Spike Chunsoft has picked it up and will be publishing it in partnership with Fudiyu. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm curious to hear more of what the English dub will sound like as well, and honestly just generally stoked that more people and myself can get to know this interesting story in English. In other JRPG news, Utawarerumono Zan has been announced to be coming to PS4 in fall. Zan is said to be more of an action brawler style compared to previous titles, but is the first thing I've seen of the series that has had me interested in it with its cool animations, so I thought I'd give it a mention. A new Sakura Wars game has been announced with a fantastic looking trailer, currently being called New Sakura Wars. While I've never played the previous games, the art, story, and gameplay for this title look very good so far, with a mix of mechs, pretty character designs, and apparently dating sim elements, making this JRPG one that I'll be keeping an eye on when it comes out in Japan towards the end of this year, and apparently next year for the West. Super Neptunia RPG is coming to PS4, PC, and Switch this summer, featuring an interesting story premise where the Neptunia characters awaken in a 2D world, where there's an enemy that wants to take civilization back to a time where 2D reigned. I love the sound of its quirky premise and the general look of the game, and while I haven't touched a Neptunia game since I enjoyed its spin-off Producing Perfection, this might be a reason to revisit the series. Worth noting is that the PS4 release will have 2 slightly altered CGs, but will be uncensored on Switch and PC, so if that's something you care about, at the very least other versions will not be censored. I would probably be interested in the Switch version myself, as even though they've only censored 2 small things, I figure since it looks like it would run fine on Switch since the graphics aren't too intense, I prefer to get it as close to as it was intended as possible, but regardless, it is still on PS4 just with a couple of edits. Outside of games, Ni no Kuni and Dragon Quest V are getting movies, with both of them looking beautiful and like something I'd like to watch. The Ni no Kuni 2 movie takes the game's concept of parallel worlds to tell its own story based in both the real world and the world of Ni no Kuni, while Dragon Quest Your Story seems to be based more closely on Dragon Quest V. I unfortunately still haven't played either of these games yet, so I can't really give any big comparisons to the source material, but both these movies look beautiful and are a good reminder that I should really play these games sometime. Finally, in good news for PC players, Octopath Traveler has just been announced to be coming to Steam on June 7th, and while it's a great fit for portable consoles, I think it's great that more players will be able to play this game. With this PC port and the upcoming mobile game, it's nice to see Octopath Traveler getting more support from Square Enix in general, as it was a lot of fun, and I hope we can hear more soon about the console experience that the developers are working on. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below any of your thoughts on all of the things mentioned in this video and which new releases you're excited for. And a special thank you to a few Twitter users for bringing some things to my attention. GoDU29, thank you for tweeting me about the Atelier Lulua DLC, and Criminal Girls X, thank you for sending me that Sakura Wars trailer. And as for everyone else, feel free to comment below or reach out on social media and let me know if you see something you'd like to hear me talk about. I can't cover everything, but if I have an opinion on something you guys send me, I definitely do my best to include it, so reach out and let me know if you see anything. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, along with links to sources and all the games I mentioned in this video. Until next time, thank you, bye!